was having a conversation with them concerning something. Don't remember what it was, but they were basically proclaiming some man-made ritual, some man-made tradition, and I was pointing them to what the scripture says, and they told me, they were saying something about the Hebrew, some Hebrew word, and that is how we should get an understanding of something. And I was trying to explain to her that, number one, what you call Hebrew really is not Hebrew. Okay? Modern Hebrew is not Hebrew. Modern Hebrew is Yiddish. Okay? Hebrew blended with Yiddish. And what is Yiddish? Yiddish is a blend of European dialects. So you have a blend of European dialects mixed in with Hebrew. And that's what modern Hebrew is. Like in Jamaica, we have patois. Now, what is patois? Patois is a mixture of African dialects and European English. And that's how you get patois. Well, you have the same thing concerning Yiddish. Yiddish is a blend of European dialects mixed in with Hebrew. And so what you have, what people talking about Hebrew, that is not Hebrew. It is Yiddish. Okay? But some people don't understand that, and they refuse to understand that. They don't want to hear that. But she is pointing to some word, and she's trying to tell me that that is how you must understand the scriptures, by this Hebrew word, which is really a Yiddish word. And I told her, no, the way you understand the scriptures is to let the scriptures interpret the scriptures. Okay? But she did not want to hear that. And the scriptures tells us this, and we have looked at this fact before. If you go to Yahuah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verses 9 and 10, it tells us that we are to study the scriptures line upon line, and he repeats, line upon line, precept upon precept, precept upon precept. And here's the key, another important key. Here a little and there a little. Okay, what that means is we are to study the scriptures contextually and let the scriptures interpret itself. Okay, but this lady totally disagreed with me, and then somebody else came along that she's friends with and told her, yeah, we should let the scriptures interpret itself. And then I didn't hear anything from her after that. But that's the unfortunate place that we're at, that people are esteeming they're esteeming tradition over the word. Okay, my wife.
No. Just tell her thank you for putting that up.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Akot, for posting it. Thank you. Okay, so the T in Torah means mark or covenant seal. Now, there's also something that I find interesting about the T or the Ta. Okay, in Hebrew it's Ta. In English it's transliterated T, and that Ta is not T-A-W but T-A-U, because there is no W in the Hebrew language. But it is the mark, okay, which its definition is covenant seal. But I also find it interesting because some people try to use the T to say, see, there's a cross in the Hebrew language, so the cross is fine. No, the cross is not fine. And the fact that Yah choose to use a ta in his language and calls it a mark, oh no. Last week I said perhaps he is letting us know that the cross is one of the marks of the beast. Okay, that's the way I look at it, you know. But it also means covenant seal. The Wah, which means nail, also carries the definition of an anchor. Okay, the Rash, or as they say in modern Hebrew, Resh, it means first or highest. Okay, and the Hey means to reveal. And reveal what? Yahuah's redemption plan to protect or to fence in. Those are definitions of the Hey, to reveal, okay, or to fence in, or to protect. Now, you put this together, basically what this shows you, it shows you that Yahusha, okay, he would be nailed or anchored to a stake, okay, that he was the highest sacrifice, the bull, okay. He became, what's the bull in scripture? The bull refers to the red heifer. Yahusha became our red heifer, okay. He was the highest sacrifice, okay, and he revealed Yahuah's redemption plan, which is to protect or to fence his people in. Okay, now I put that in words in a more fluent way where it can be clearly seen and understood. And it is in him that we are sealed in this covenant. Okay, so and I put it in words where it's clearly seen. And once maybe before this day is over, I can recall how I labeled that study and go and pull it up and put it up here. But I believe that you can see clearly from the very spelling of the word and the definition of each letter that it points to Yahusha, our Redeemer. Now, who's Yahusha? According to the scriptures, Yahusha is Yahuah manifested in the flesh. Okay, and we have been seeing that over the past so far we have covered about 7 weeks of that study on the character of Yahuah, and the scriptures expressly states it, and we have seen that. Okay, so, and we'll get back to that study, but I believe you can clearly see it there. And so I started to talk about the importance of letters in Hebrew. So just as we look at Tzitzit, when you look at Tzitzit speaks remember, reminder, a remembrance. Just as Torah speaks of Yahusha. Okay, Torah, when you see Torah, it points to Yahusha. So for the people who are teaching that you must be circumcised in the flesh to be in covenant with Yah, and they say that if you say that's not so, then you are teaching against Torah, then they themselves are teaching against Torah. Okay, because Torah points to Yahusha. There are certain things that Yahusha came to fill to the full in Torah. Now, what does it mean to fill a thing to the full? Okay, to fill a thing to the full means that it is so filled that there is nothing that you can add to it. Okay, there is nothing that you can add to it, and there are certain things in the covenant that he has filled to the full. Another thing, as we discuss this topic, that we should keep in mind, and those who teach that you must wear tzitzit and that you must be circumcised in the flesh, another thing they fail to see that is clearly shown to us in the scriptures is that there has been a change in the covenant. And so this lady last night essentially called me a false teacher because I told her that there is a change in the covenant, and she said that there has been no change in the covenant. But we're going to go to scriptures today that clearly shows us that there has been a change in the covenant. Now, question is, what changes are there in the covenant? Okay, because it's one thing not to know that there was a change in the covenant. It's another thing to know that there was a change in the covenant but not know what the changes are, because if you don't know what the changes are, then that will still cause you to teach contrary to the scriptures. And then it's another thing to know how the changes apply. Okay, so we must know that there is a change in the covenant. There was a change in the covenant according to the scriptures. We must know why the change was necessary, and we must know how the changes apply. Okay, and hopefully by the time we get through our study today, we'll be able to see this clearly. All right, so now let's go back to Bamidbar. We're in verse 38. Okay, speak to the children of Yasharal, and you shall say to them to make tzitzit. And again, tzitzit is the plural for the word tzitzit. Okay. Thank you, Pentecost equals prophetic, and the seal of the new covenant. That's one of the things that we covered last week. Okay, the prophetic, it is prophetic, and also the seal of the new covenant. That's what Pentecost is that we celebrated last week.
That wasn't the title, right?
No, that wasn't the title.
Okay.
But that was one of the points that was brought out last week. We spoke last week a little bit about the new covenant, and it just so happens that you cannot speak about Tzitzit without talking about the covenants. Okay, so we're going to be talking some more again this week about the new covenant. All right, but he says, speak to the children of Yasharal, verse 38, and we are in Bamidbar chapter 15. Speak to the children of Yasharal, and you shall say to them to make tzitzit on the corners of your garments throughout their generations, and to put a blue cord in the tzitzit of the corners. So we see that the blue was to remind them of Yahuah. Verse 39, and it shall be to you for a tzitzit. See how that word is used? It shall be to you for a tzitzit. Why? Because tzitzit means reminder. So you can say it shall be to you for a reminder, or it shall be to you for a remembrance, and you shall see it and shall remember all the commands of Yahuah, and shall do them, and not search after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you went whoring. Okay, so first he tells them to put the blue. Then he's explaining the purpose of the fringes that's on the tassels, or the tzitzit. Okay, he's explaining now the fringes. They shall be to you as a reminder to remember all the commands of Yahuah, and shall do them, and search after your own heart, and not search after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you went whoring. Now, this is, we're in Deuteronomy, Bamidbar. We're in Bamidbar. Numbers chapter 15. Numbers chapter 15, and now we're at verse 39. I'm sorry. We began reading at verse 37. Now we're at verse 39. Shabbat Shalom to you, Gen 75. Welcome to the room. Okay, so now we see in verse 39. We saw in verse 38 where he gave them the instruction to put blue. The blue was to remind them of Yahuah himself. Now he's telling them the purpose of the tassels